What's up, Chromies? Great to be back behind the mic. Today, I'm going to be sharing my favorite links and updates for February 2024. Now, if you are watching this podcast over on YouTube, you'll notice that my background and image is a little unusual. I am currently in Italy, in the Tuscany area. On a little European trip with my family. We've been traveling for quite a bit. We talked a little bit about it last month. We'll be wrapping up our trip very soon, and I'll be back in the studio with my normal podcasting equipment. So very grateful for pretty good Wi-Fi and opportunity to record this even while on the road. I am currently sitting outside where it is a little bit cold. So we're probably going to keep this short so I can rejoin my family inside. I want to thank Visor for sponsoring this episode. Visor for Chromebooks has been a wonderful supporter of the Chromebook Classroom podcast. If you are managing Chromebooks at your school or organization, Visor is an asset management solution that can help you manage your devices, figure out who has what, which devices are out for repair, manage loaners, and a whole lot more. This is a really good time to talk with the guys over at Visor. They get very busy over the summer as they do a lot of implementations before the school year. So get ahead of the rush by contacting them. You can save 20% off your first year by visiting vizor.cloud/CBC. That's vizor.cloud/CBC. If you have not joined the show, if you haven't subscribed, I encourage you to do that over on Apple or Spotify. I used to say Google Podcasts, but that's going away. So I guess YouTube. I'm a big user. I love Google Podcasts. That's how I listen to my podcast. So I'm going to have to figure something out because I canceled my Spotify subscription. And I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of Apple Music or YouTube Music, but I guess I'm going to have to figure it out. I have to get on board with it. All right, let's jump over to the news and updates for this month. And as always, there's lots to talk about. First, in the latest AI news and development, Google Bard is now called Gemini. There are some things you can count on, and Google naming and renaming products is one of them. They didn't really explain why, but they have made the decision to turn to the Gemini era, as their blog post reads. My opinion is that businesses felt that it was really weird they were buying a service called Bard. I don't know. It just seemed a little juvenile, kind of like a code name or something. Didn't really seem like the right kind of name for a very important, very sophisticated tool. Gemini seems much more, modern. So can't blame them, although I'm continually amazed at a company like Google. As many smart people as they hire, they struggle so much with naming things. But anyways, let's talk about Gemini for a little bit. This is not just a name change. Gemini is also the name of the underlying AI base that they've moved to. So there was Palm. There's a couple different ones. Well, they've upgraded it to Gemini. There's a few different versions. There's Gemini Advanced, which is a paid option, kind of like ChatGPT. What are we at? 4.5. There's Gemini Ultra, which is for like research institutions. You got to be pretty sophisticated to use Gemini Ultra. And then there's a small one, forget what they call that one, that runs like locally on your phone. So not only have they upgraded the name, they've upgraded the capabilities of what was Google Bard, now Gemini. And this is what they call a multimodal, which means the same AI algorithm can process text, images, code, video, and I think audio. So they don't have to have separate AI instances for processing different types of media. So the devil's in the details. You'll have to try it out and figure out which one you think performs the best. But that's the promise of Gemini, that it can do a lot of things together. They've also renamed all of their other tools. So Duet AI for Google Workspace, another terrible name, is now Gemini for Workspace. We have Gemini in Gmail, DocSlide. So eliminate Bard, eliminate Duet from your vocabulary. Everything is now Gemini. So I'm excited to experiment with this. One thing that I have played with a little bit on my travels, because I have needed to translate a lot of stuff, is this new Gemini app, which is currently only available for Android. And it's interesting. It's good. It's fast. It certainly makes it easy to access the AI assistant. It's interesting. Those of you who have Android phones, Pixel phones will understand this. When you install the Gemini app, it actually replaces the Google Pixel on the little search bar at the bottom with Gemini. So you're using AI anytime you use the Google Assistant. So try that out if you have an Android phone. It's definitely worth checking out. And this is certainly what Google's big push is for AI moving forward. All right, we're not done with AI yet. Let's move into some education-specific news. Google is accepting applications for their education pilot program for artificial intelligence. As we've talked about before on the podcast, Google has been very cautious, as in like really cautious, about integrating AI tools into its business and education tools. Very concerned about data privacy and all the rest, which, I can't blame them. That is certainly slowing up their innovation a little bit. However, they are getting ready to test some things, and they're looking for a few schools who are willing to be those beta testers. So you must be an IT director in order to fill out the form that you see on the screen. And you can see the details. This is for an entire school, not individual. And you can whitelist your 18 plus users. The other thing, you need to be using Google Classroom, and I think you have to be using Education Plus or Teaching and Learning, I believe. So if your organization, if your district fits that description, you can sign up. I've signed up, haven't gotten in. I don't really know what the process is, how they approve people or how long it'll take, but Google is interested and eager to begin testing some of its AI tools that are specifically designed for the K-12 classroom. All right, link number 3. This is, and in case you missed it, right after I recorded and published the January edition of the EDU update, Google dropped a whole bunch of updates at the BETT conference in London. This was right at the end of January. So these did not make it into the last update. It is a little bit of old news. It's been around for a little while, but we'll just quickly summarize these so you can get a sense of what to look for. Now, if you're watching this, you're going to see a lot of dollar signs on the screen because nearly all of the updates that I'm about to share do require a premium addition to Google Workspace. So that's Education Plus or Teaching and Learning. So a couple of Google Classroom updates. This one has already launched, is the new resource tab. I've been playing around with that. It is helpful. It just makes it a lot easier to share resources with other teachers, like practice sets, interactive YouTube videos, or reuse those activities into another class. So a little bit easier than finding the class and copying it over. Secondly, we have improved analytics. Those have been rolling out now. You can see a little bit more details just than turned in, submitted, not submitted, or late, when a student opens things, how long they spent on an assignment. Administrators can also see that information for your entire district. There are 10 new add-ons coming for Google Classroom later in 2024. Some familiar names in there. Let me see if I can pull up the list. These have not launched yet. They'll be coming later this year. Probably not going to get, let me see if I can Google BETT updates. I don't have any secrets, guys. I just Google stuff just like you. There we go. Let me see if I can get the list of add-ons they're putting in. There were some familiar ones that I was happy to see. I think Screencastify was one of them. Nope, that was from last year. Let's try this one. We'll do one more, then we're going to quit. Okay, this is it. Add-ons. Here we go. What do we got? Cami, quizzes, Boom Learning, Bloxels, Padlet, ThingLink, SnapType, Text Help. Yeah, so a lot of familiar ones. Again, the add-ons are great. They just make it easier to connect tools you're already using to Google Classroom. So you don't have any codes or additional that you have to pass out to your students. I was using it recently with Kahoot, and it works great. It's really nice. Okay, a couple other updates related to Google Classroom. Teacher-defined student groups, that's coming later this year. My guess it'll be sometime kind of over the summer in time for the fall. That's a hotly requested one, probably second only to scheduling assignments and locking assignments. So that's going to be great. So you can define student groups, these 5 students, and you can reuse those groups very easily rather than having to select them every single time. And then the last one that a lot of teachers are excited about, Google Classroom recently added the ability to add interactive questions to YouTube videos, which is cool. I've been playing around with that. But now you're going to be able to use AI to actually generate those questions. So the AI can watch the video for you, suggest the questions, then you'll be able to look and select the questions that you like. So that's a pretty big time saver for those of you who use a lot of YouTube videos in your classroom. Moving on to some admin updates. They're simplifying the process for third-party application approval. If you're an IT admin and you went through that process, it certainly could be approved. And another one that I think is a really good idea that Google actually announced and then pushed back is certain actions in the admin console will require 2 admins to approve it. So for example, if you accidentally click the button to delete your Google Workspace domain, one person could not do that. It would require the approval by a second person. And so there's a list of sensitive actions that require that. So I think that's a good thing. They announced the AI pilot program, which we just talked about, and Duet AI for Google Workspace is now available to everyone. I am currently using it. It is very expensive. I am paying $30 per user per month, which is a lot of money. And that's over and above if you're, for example, paying for Education Plus or Teaching and Learning, that's an additional license cost. So that's pricey. I'm going to have to see what Google does about that. They may offer discounted education pricing, but as I've talked about before, AI is very computationally expensive. Someone's got to pay the bill, and it's getting passed on to the customers. Couple final updates. Electronic signatures for Google Drive, that is now available to everyone. Recording presentations with Google Slides, that is now available as well. Again, if you are on one of the premium accounts. Final 2 updates are available for everyone, and this is actually the one that I am most excited about. It's a simple update, but I think could make a pretty big difference. Google Classroom reminders will be built into Chromebooks. So like I'm on my Chromebook right now. I don't even think I have any notifications, but here's my notification tray. What you've downloaded or my camera's on, stuff like that. Google Classroom notifications are going to show up there. I think that's really cool. It's just another quick way to remind students of what's coming and what they need to be working on. So those are a few of the updates. You can check those out if you're interested in getting more details on any of those. All right, link number 5 or no, number 4, update number 4 for February is some improvements to how Google is handling comments in a Google document. Or docs or slides. So comments traditionally kind of hang off on the right side of the page. And if you have a lot of comments, it can be a little, they kind of get in the way. So they shrink down your viewable space, especially if you're on a smaller device, and they kind of overlap each other, and there's a lot of clutter. So you now have the option to hide kind of the comment toolbar slides left and right. So if you want to see them or hide them, and there's just little indicators that still remain visible when you hide them. But it's a nice, clean way to look at things. I know every teacher kind of has their own rules about should you resolve comments once a student fixes something, or you want to leave them there. And so this will allow them to kind of hide your comments if you've left them for them while they're working on a document, improving their writing. So a little nice improvement for Google Docs. That did appear in my account, so a lot of you should have it. You just see kind of a little arrow off on the margin of your Google document next time you open it up. All right, link number 5 is something that's pretty cool, but also something I'm a little annoyed about because they're not coming to Chromebooks. So the Chrome browser is getting 3 generative AI features, but only for Mac and PC. What's up, Google? I mean, you'd think these would come to Chromebooks first. So I don't know. I'm interested. So update number 1 is interesting. Some of you will probably hate this. You can use AI to organize your tabs. So again, I can't do this because I'm on a Chromebook, but if you click up in the top left little arrow of the Chrome browser, there's a little list all of the tabs that you have open. It's supposed to help you find them, and there'll be a new option that says organize similar tabs. And somehow it's going to be able to look at the topic, the sites, and put them together. So my wife usually does 7 things at a time. It will be able to neatly organize those accordingly. My guess is that the people who have a bunch of tabs open already have them organized just the way they want them and don't want AI touching them. Just a guess. Secondly, we have new themes with AI. So kind of like we can do with Google Meet, you can create your own backgrounds. You can create your own custom theme using AI by describing it. I mean, this is really the same feature available in Google Slides right now, where you can describe an image and then it will create it for you. And then third, this is probably the most important one, is the Help Me Write is coming to Chrome. And so you can go to any text box and AI will ask, do you want help writing a response? And you can describe what you want and it will do it for you. So very similar to what we have inside of Google Docs. If you use the Gemini for Google Workspace, or Help Me Write with Gmail. If you use it, your personal Gmail account would have a lot of these features. So I'm a little jealous because as a full-time Chromebook user, I will not be getting these things, at least right now. But if you're using a Mac or a PC, they should be rolling out fairly soon. Now, if you're not getting these links in your inbox every month, you should be. You can sign up for my monthly email newsletter. Just visit chrm.tech/update, and you'll get the next Google EDU update. That's chrm.tech/update. Better actually check, make sure that's the right URL. Pretty sure it is. Sometimes, yeah, that's it. I doubted myself, but we're back. All right, link number 6. Those of you who use appointment schedules will enjoy this. I've been using appointment schedules a lot lately, and it's a great feature. Those of you who don't know, appointment schedules just allows you to block off a section of time in your calendar and then specify, I want 5 30-minute appointments, and then people can sign up for it. You can add Google Meet or a phone call. It's very nice. Works really well. I do a lot of office hours for the Google Admin Bootcamp and the Chromebook Academy that are starting up here shortly. So the update to the appointment schedules allows you to have co-hosts. So this is a big deal. So, if you're an IT department or team or a tech coach, well, there might be more than one of you. And so you have an appointment schedule, but you kind of have to juggle who's going to take the appointment based on scheduling and other things that are going on. Well, now you can have co-hosts on a single schedule. So you can have one appointment schedule with multiple people listed on it, which is helpful. The second thing that's very helpful, because this happened to me, is that the idea behind the appointment schedule is it actually monitors your calendar. And so if you add an event to your calendar before you create the appointment schedule, it'll say, oh, I can't take an appointment then. There's an event located there. The problem is that it previously only looked at your primary calendar. So the new update is that it will now look at your secondary calendar as well. So a lot of you, again, if you're a tech coach, you might have a different calendar for multiple schools. And so the appointment calendar is tricky to utilize because you might book something on one of those secondary calendars. But now the appointment schedules will pay attention so you're not getting double booked. So those are some great options, great updates to an already useful tool. If you're taking advantage of it, it's getting even better. All right, number 7, we got a couple updates for Google Meet, and you guys will have to let me know if I should just get rid of the Google Meet updates. I don't know. I use Google Meet a lot because I'm still doing a lot of virtual events. The Admin Bootcamp, the Chromebook Academy, the Google Certification Academy. I run all through Google Meet, so I use it a ton. So I always like these Google Meet updates, but I realize a lot of people have moved on and would prefer not to think about Google Meet anymore. But a couple things that are useful. Number one, you can pin a chat message in Google Meet. And this is very helpful because it's always super annoying because I start a meeting and I drop a link into the chat, say, hey, you need this document for today's session, but then someone joins 10 minutes late. When you join late, you do not see any of the chat messages that occurred before you arrived. And so now I can pin that message so that everybody will see it regardless of when they visit. So that's pretty cool. The other thing that has been added is Google Meet now supports captions and translations for 31 new languages. And this is something that I have seen teachers do. If you have a non-native English speaker, sometimes it might be helpful for them to read captions in their native language. And so a lot of students will actually run Google Meet in class with their teacher and just leave that on so it automatically transcribes things. I am not going to read this full list to you, but it includes Filipino, Farsi, Hungarian, Nepali, Mongolian, Urdu, Zulu, and a bunch of others. So we've got 31 new languages for closed captioning. So that's pretty cool. And I'm confident they'll be adding more all the time. When I go to Google offices, I was most recently in Sunnyvale, California this fall. In all meetings, they always have Google Meet on, and they use the translation, the caption feature. Pretty much anytime they have a virtual meeting, it's on and available. All right, link number 8. This is an interesting update. Shareable class templates are now available for everyone. You can now publish your entire Google Classroom for another teacher to make a copy of. You have previously, this has not been an easy process. You had to, make someone a co-teacher, then they come in and make a copy of your class. Well, now you can actually click this little share classwork button at the top of your classwork page. That will generate a link. You share that link with whomever you want, and they can click on that link. They can't get into your class, they can't see your current students or modify anything, but they are allowed to make a copy of everything on your classwork page. So that's a really interesting option. It will make common assessments or common coursework a little bit easier, a whole lot easier. This feature does require an Education Plus license in order to utilize. The other thing that I discovered that I'm a little annoyed about, and I'm hoping Google will change it soon, is it only worked within your domain. So like if I wanted to share something that I created with you, I can't do that because we have separate Google domains. I'm interested in doing that because I would love to, share some of the resources that I've created. I can also imagine that as soon as Google does make that available, Teachers Pay Teachers is going to get a lot more interesting because you could now sell an entire Google Classroom full of resources, which, is pretty good. But, everybody has a different opinion on whether or not you like Teachers Pay Teachers. So pros and cons to that for sure. All right, number 9, link number 9 for the month is a new book. Have not read this one yet, but I know it's going to be good. This is the EduProtocol Field Guide Primary Edition by Benjamin Cogswell and Jennifer Dean, with support and encouragement from Marlena Hebern and John Carippo, the founders of EduProtocol. So if you are familiar with EduProtocols and you use them in your classroom, this is going to be a great new addition, especially those of you who are at the primary level. So this is going to help you adapt and modify the EduProtocols for TK2 students. So this book has been a long time in the works, I know. I talked to John this fall, and he said they were just finishing up. It is now available on Amazon for less than $30. It's a great deal. So as soon as I get back home, I'm going to order a copy and look forward to reading it and sharing some of the insights that are in there. EduProtocols is a great way to add engagement, teach better with less prep, as John Carippo would like to say. All right, last link for this month is Art Remix. And we've been spending a lot of time in art museums. We actually just saw the Statue of David here in Florence. And last week we saw the Mona Lisa over in Paris. That was actually a terrible experience. The thing is so crowded, you could barely even see it. Today's last link is Art Remix. This is an AI art generation tool. Now, this is very interesting. I think could be certainly very useful for art teachers, but also anyone who is teaching kind of AI understanding or usage. So the idea behind Art Remix, this is part of Google Arts and Culture, is it will create a new artistic painting in the style of an existing piece of art, but you have to know. You have to use descriptive language. Now, I'm not familiar with this one, but it says an oil painting of Juan Cris of the head and the body against the background. And you click random mix, and it shuffles it up and gives you a different style for that particular work of art. Descriptive language is really essential when you are trying to generate AI images. I am honestly not very good at it. I'm much better at the text, but you really have to describe exactly what you're looking for. So this is an interesting one where you can create your own, remix inspired by this work of art. And so on. So there's prompts, you fill it out, and then you can see what you get. So this is a nice tool for exposing students to AI and working with AI where they're not just able to generate anything they want. There's kind of some guardrails for them to check out. So this is available on the web at Google Arts and Culture. Go to their Experiments tab, and you'll see Art Remix as one of the options. All right, well, that wraps up the 10 links worth clicking on for February 2024. Thanks for hanging out with me here in Italy in the darkness, and it is still getting cold. I want to thank Visor again for sponsoring the podcast. You can visit Visor and learn more about how to manage your Chromebooks more effectively with the Visor solution. Visit vizor.cloud/CBC. To sign up for a free demo and save 20% off your first year. I encourage you to subscribe to the show over on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. If you have a tip on which podcast player I should switch to, Google Podcast meets its demise this spring, send it my way as well. You can connect with me over on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all the places. Love to hang out with you. Let me know if any of these resources were helpful or if you have any things that you think I should check out for next month. Have a wonderful week. Happy President's Day. Take care.